Good morning, all of you. I'm Naleen from University of Morocco, Sri Lanka. So I'm going to talk about my study on the silver line of in the COVID cloud. Actually, it was done with some school teachers in Sri Lanka, because most of the research was done with university students. So school students were slightly neglected. So objective of this research is to find out how much the pedagogy has assisted the school teachers and up to which level the student participation is there, and what are the socio-economic factors that contribute with the continuation of mobile learning platform with those students. So the background, actually, we all know COVID has done a bit damage to the education sector. And according to Fields and Harnett, it's 1.5 billion students who were forced to stay at home due to the lockdown, and also due to social distancing and all other consequences of COVID. So in this context I'm talking about, the Sri Lankan context, we have about 10,000 schools with about 100,000 students. Actually, the study was conducted during the lockdown. So with the limited number of participants, actually we had 71 teachers from public, private, and international school. So as the data collection method, Google form has been used along with discussion with them using social networking or mobile, because that's the only way of communicating with them. As there's no research done in this nature in Sri Lanka, I have thought of user exploratory research design method and use this as a case study, which will extend to the next level, which I'm doing right now. And the mixed method is used for data collection. So let me tell about the prior experience of the teachers before the COVID. Before COVID comes, it was teacher-centered, traditional classroom. No one interested about mobile learning. But with the discussion with the teachers, it says about around 12% they had experienced it, but not used that much in their teaching platform. So the thing is, because of that, we need to give them awareness about the pedagogy. And training is the toughest thing, because we have to train them using Zoom, YouTube, or any other mobile or online method, which they are not that much familiar. So this is how their schools asking for the mobile learning platforms. Some school, which has categorized as not compulsory, they have outsourced some people who are good at this to do the lesson for the school. So when it goes to private school, around 75 private schools, they conducted the online session. It's 76 when it comes to public school, and 78 for international school. So first thing I have done is to see the availability of the device to use as the infrastructure for the mobile learning session. So it shows that 98%, around 98% possess laptops, and 94% they have a smartphone, and around 76% they have home broadband, and the rest are using mobile internet. And there are around 5% of people who has no basic knowledge about how to use even Android phone, because they have an Android phone, but they use is the basic functions such as texting and call, getting a call. And luckily, there were 95% from the sample had they surf internet daily, and they had a good exposure. But the thing is, I have to mention it right now. This is a community sample, and there are a lot of people who don't have that facilities, which I will be discussed later. So I'm quickly going through the discussion of the influence from the school, and some school they have forced the teachers to adapt to this, and it made them stress. And some school they assist with the software tools and even the laptops. And for more than that, some teachers were paid for the extra usage of their internet connection. But some schools, they even cut off the salary as a half salary during the lockdown. So this is one of the comment from the teacher while I was doing the survey. And they have used Microsoft Teams. Actually, they have purchased, school has purchased Microsoft Teams, and they have given it to all the teachers. That is a kind of a positive aspect. And from the student perspective, and it's very low. There are a lot of concerns which is out of this research, and distraction from household things and the kids and the noises and all the things. And students dislike the high screen time, because sometimes there are about 4-5 hour session which they don't like to continue. And it's the natural thing, they get bored so easily. So one of the teacher has commented that he strongly believe in the mobile learning, but she has commented on the screen time too. So working with the pedagogy was a real challenge. So the teacher had problem with adapting to new pedagogy. And as we are using the mother tongue Sinhalese for most of the studies, except English and English literature, it was a real challenge to create material using mother tongue. And as this is a new pedagogy, there are a lot of meetings and training sessions. In addition to that, there were progress, the teacher has to submit progress report. And those things make the teachers a little more stressed. And when it comes to exam, even the university level exam has been postponed because there's no guideline for online exams. And so they would, the administration do not have confidence over online exam. And the other thing is, the one thing I have observed, that they have kind of reluctant to share their personal information, because they think that giving the phone number or giving the email address, sometimes getting the one-time password, those will be issues for them. So that was also a real obstacle in this process. So when you go to the teachers' comment, they were happy, but these are selected comments, but some of them were happy about this and they were willing to continue. So let me tell about the confidence of adapting to this and their willingness to continue the process. And it says 20% believe that they are behind the fellow staff members, and they are a little bit reluctant to learn too. And the 80% believe that they can increase, and 95% were willing to have sessions, training session on how to create documents and videos on YouTube, because YouTube packages are available on monthly basis. So that's the easy way. And 93% of teachers, they believe that this online platform will increase their flexibility of teaching, while 97%, that you mean the most of the people, they were believing that digital tools will be a good resource. Uh, uh, Addition to that, 85% believe that it's essential to include digital fluency because they see what's happening in the future. So the limitation, the number one was slow internet, and the teachers were not familiar with the tools and the software. That's a great obstacle. In addition, even with the slow internet, there were problem with unavailability of mobile data recharge cards or recharge locations. So that make a real trouble. But now at the moment it has been, we are in the second wave. At the moment it has been settled as they can pay through banks or some other measure. And the teachers were not confident for conducting online evaluation, as I mentioned earlier. But as a positive part, there's a higher involvement of the parents in the process. That will be a bigger advantage in the future when they adhere to this mobile learning platform. So let me come to the conclusion and recommendation. And according to the study, there's no problem with the technology and devices. And the teachers has a positive mindset towards adhering to this type of learning platform. And though they have the initial digital literacy to initiate the things, to go on with a proper way, they need much more knowledge, and their digital literacy has been improved to a certain level to come up with the better results. And this is actually the school politics means some school, they say, okay, do you have to do this? And they have given a heavy workload. And as I talk with the teacher, they said that it's not useful and it's not fruitful. That's a real challenge because they are willing to cover the syllabus, not the thinking about the content, what about the quality. And it is recommended, even some teachers suggested to have a centered LMS with the share data with all those digital resources that teachers can download and share among the students. That will be a good thing, and at the moment we are working on that. And the data problem and the problem with the internet connection was a little bit settled now, but the digital divide is a big problem even at the moment, not only in the rural area, but also in urban areas too. So these are the things that we suggest as the further studies to see whether they are continuing the online learning session even after COVID. After our first wave, there was a second wave at the very little time span. So we have to wait until the second wave is over to see whether they are continuing that. And there's a need to carry off a bigger sample because I have used a sample from one province as a convenient sample. And it should be this research should be expanded to the whole country to have a proper generalization. And the students aspect, we have to have conduct a different research on that too. So this is one of the other comment, and LMS to be implemented to make possible arrangement to help isolate individual. Actually, the isolate individual means in some places there are no mobile or internet connection. The connection strength is so low, so there's no possibility to have online live classes. So they want to have a kind of a LMS or offline asynchronous way of dealing with their studies. So these are my references, and thank you for your time. And it's the question time.
Thank you, Dr. Naleen, for the sharing. Like previous session, if you have any questions for him, you can submit it in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and speak directly. Do you have questions from the participants? Dr. Naleen, actually, can you express more? What are the arrangements in Sri Lanka about the remote lessons? Like, is it a very is it that every universities have been practicing this during the pandemic situation, or like what are the arrangements actually trending?
Yeah, actually, Ms. Tang, this study is for schools, but in university, there's each university there's an LMS. Or they are exposed to, even from the first semester. They are exposed into the LMS and the Moodle online session. So for them, even the lecturers are so much familiar with that. So in that case, the university has the upper hand, and they are doing really best. And I have studied about some universities, but they are not up to the level of conducting examination.
I see.
But they are doing all the coursework. For the moment, what they have done is they have conducted the lecture for the semester and stopped that. And after 1 week, they have started the lectures for the next cluster, and they are doing it and completing the assessment part. Then when the situation is better, they are planning to do the examination, because there's no guideline for online assessment here. So to build up that kind of a guideline, it will take some time. So they are planning to have that physical examination when the situation is better.
I see. Thank you very much. Do we have more questions from the floor? Actually, the assessment part is the most difficult one, right? Because it's impossible to conduct the online examinations there, right?
Actually, the thing is, to conduct in online examination, there should be a proper infrastructure. Without a proper infrastructure, and the other thing is we have to make sure that it's kind of authentic, held in an authentic and proper way. So we had some example from Cambridge and Edexcel examination, which was done as the take-home assignment. And we found that there's a high plagiarism index on those answers. And they have failed all the people, because they have given with the guidelines that plagiarism, we all know as an offense. So as they have not adhered to that rules, they have failed a whole lot of things. They have to repeat the examination next year. So in the schools, that's for the London exam. But when it comes to the local exams, our infrastructure for that is not good. We held 2 written exams. That is one for the grade 5 student for the scholarship exam. That was a written one. It was done amidst all the trouble, and also the university entrance exam. That was also done at the same way, at the written exam, but no other exams. I can't see kind of a clue of having online exam in the near future here.
I see. That's a very difficult situation. Thank you very much for answering my question and your sharing.